as amended, to be applied to the following property: 1812 Columbia Road. Tonight's process, commissioners, will just have one step. The applicant has waived their right to submit alternatives to demolition. In this first and only step, the commission will determine whether the building is preferably preserved. The commission will invoke the 90-day demolition delay if it finds that it is in the public interest for the building to be preserved or rehabilitated rather than demolished. Would the Boston Landmarks Commission staff please review the staff's findings regarding significance with the commission?
The staff has determined that the building proposed for demolition is significant within the meaning of the Article 85 ordinance. Specifically, Section 85.5.3C states the building is historically or architecturally significant because of period, style, method of building construction, or important association with a famous architect or building. Section 85.5.3D states the building has an important association with one or more historic persons or events, or with the broad architectural, cultural, political, economic, or social history of the city. And Section 85.5.3E states the building is one whose loss would have a significant negative impact on the historical or architectural integrity or urban design character of the neighborhood. Furthermore, the house is part of a cluster of historic buildings that sets the tone for the architectural landscape of the neighborhood. It is the first home on a prominent corner of an island of 3 lots on the historic Seaside Boulevard that stretches from Pleasure Bay to Moakley Park in South Boston. Its relatively low scale allows the street to gradually step up to the taller triple deckers between O and M streets. The colonial revival design of the house also harmonizes with the designs of the yacht clubs across the street on William J. Day Boulevard, which are clad in wood shingles and display elements of colonial revival, Queen Anne, shingle, Italian Renaissance, Tudor revival, and the bungalow craftsman styles. The architecture of 1812 Columbia Road furthermore influenced the design of the shingled townhouses across the street at 794 East 7th Street. Although Joe Moakley wasn't available to attend neighborhood meetings about the development due to prior commitments, he made his feelings known to neighbors about what he wanted to see on the site. Direct abutter, Paulus Warbalis of 1808 Columbia Road and daughter of the builder of 1808 and 1812 Columbia Road, Frank A. Kundari, remembers that Joe Moakley said to her one day, quote, "I don't want to come out of my house and look at a great big brick box," end quote. Local residents banded together to advocate that the development would be appropriate for its location in terms of size, style, and green space. The townhouses were built in the shingle style with white horizontal bands and 6/1 windows similar to the Moakley house, and are now cited frequently by local residents as a good example of new architecture that fits into the look of the neighborhood.
Thank you, Liz. I will now invite the applicant to present any information that would assist the commission in determining whether the building is historically or architecturally significant. You may also address the condition of the building. Your presentation should be limited to information regarding the significance and condition of the existing building and should not address alternatives to demolition, proposed projects, or the suitability of the building for any proposed use. The representative applicant who will be speaking.
All right, if you could raise your hand. All right. Richard Lenz, you can unmute yourself.
Thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Great. Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. My name is Richard Lenz with the business address of 245 Summer Street, East Boston. I'm here on behalf of the applicants, Brian and Patricia Clardy, who are the owners of 1812 Columbia Road. As the chair indicated, we are before the commission under the provisions of Article 85 of the Boston Zoning Code with respect to 1812 Columbia Road. And I'm not sure, Mr. Cornish, if the submittal that I provided is available to be, because I have the page numbers I can reference. I know we included a number of materials in the submittal.
Do you mean in this presentation, or?
Yeah, I provided our materials, which included photos and other information of the property, but that's fine. We can go with this. That's not an issue. So just briefly, this property is a single family home. It's been the family home of Brian and Patricia Clardy and their family for now, for more than 2 decades. This is located, as I think was indicated, in the City Point section of South Boston. This is at the intersection of Columbia Road, where it meets East 7th Street. It is surrounded by homes of various styles, as well as occupancies, including a number of multifamily dwellings. Based on the records on file with the City of Boston, it would appear this building was built somewhere after 1927, when the building permit was issued, which authorized the construction of a 2-family home. There's been a number of other permits that are available within the records of the City of Boston. That includes a change of occupancy in 1989, which resulted in the change from a 2-family to a single-family home by the prior owner. Along with this change, there was a request for permission to also make a number of interior renovations as well as remove exterior stairs. Additionally, there was some request to add a kitchen as well as some additional area of the building. That did require relief from the Boston Board of Appeal, which was ultimately granted. The current owners in 2013 filed a permit to use the premises for off-street parking. There were 2 off-street parking spaces that were added. I have included with our submittal to the commission, which is, I believe, part of the record, copies of all the original building permit applications, the original plans, as well as a number of photos of the interior and the exterior of the property. And although this isn't fully reflected in the records of the City of Boston, there have been numerous modifications to the exterior. This was, when it was originally constructed back in the late 1920s, early 1930s, a number of changes appears to have been made over time. And I believe our architect, Doug Stefanoff, will review that briefly in his comments. And there's also a letter from Mr. Stefanoff in your file as part of the record. As stated, the current use of this property is single family. It sits on about 4,650 square foot lot and certainly remains intact today. The condition of the property, which is reflected in the photos that we provided the commission, both interior and exterior, would show the current condition, that it's generally in good condition. It is a 2-story building. It has a total of 6 rooms, 3 bedrooms, 1.5 baths, and approximately 2,460 square feet of gross floor area. And again, that is all shown and reflected in what we've provided for the record. We did also provide a survey of the property. The commission has that in its record, which shows the property is located in a portion of the AE flood zone based on the FEMA's most recent flood maps, and it's identified as an elevation 11. It's important for the commission to understand, although I won't get into any of the future plans for the property, any redevelopment options or alternatives, it is important for the commission to understand that the presence of the flood zone certainly impacts any changes to this property. To the extent that there is any renovation of the property, whatever that might be, because of the presence of the flood zone, that would require compliance with Article 25 of the Boston Zoning Code. Article 25 would limit the use of this building below the base flood elevation level. We would not be able to have any habitable space or be able to use any portion of that for certain mechanical equipment, because the building would have to comply with the current requirements of Article 25 based upon the extent of any renovations that are done. I would also point out, just relevant for the area, this is located in a coastal flood resiliency overlay district, and therefore the city has prioritized this location for climate resiliency measures for any new development, as well as existing properties that may undergo substantial rehabilitation. So I will close before I bring up Doug Stefanoff to talk a little about the architecture. The plan by this property owner is obviously, because we're before the commission on Article 85, to demolish the structure and to rebuild a climate resilient design, which would be occupied by their family for the future. I won't get into the details about the design or any alternatives to demolition, but I did want the commission to understand that. The proposal or any proposal of this site would be compliant if it were a multifamily dwelling. That is the current zoning that allows more than 4 or more units on the site as a matter of right. So in deciding whether there's a 90-day delay that should be invoked by the commission's aware that it's considered certain criteria as to whether the building should be preferably preserved. First, that's whether the building's historic, architectural, and urban design significance is such that there's a preference for preservation over demolition. Second, the commission should consider whether the building is one of the last remaining examples of its kind in the neighborhood, the city, or the region. And lastly, the commission should consider the building's condition. At this time, I'd like to ask Doug Stefanoff, who is the Clardy's architect and consultant for this project, to discuss briefly some of the issues regarding the building's architecture, urban design significance, and its condition. So Doug, if you could do that for the commission briefly, that'd be much appreciated.
Yes, I'll unmute him. I just want to confirm that the materials submitted by the applicant have been shared with the commissioners in a shared file prior to the hearing. All right. Douglas, you should be able to unmute yourself.
Greetings, Commissioner and members of the Historic Commission. Thank you first for your time. Thank you, Richard. I'll just try and touch on new information and just to not review previous. Just to speak about the building at 1812, as you know, it was built in concert with 1808, the multifamily next door, also still relatively intact, in the same builder, which has open balconies. So this building had an open balcony to the front of the building. If you look at the original drawings that are actually on record, there's been a lot of internal changes over time. And I will point out that many of the buildings cited previously, the larger triple deckers in the past, didn't exist in 1927 when this building was built. In fact, the lot behind this building was a garage or a gas station, a low density gas station for many years. It's a fairly simple, straightforward colonial revival house. Yes, it is clad in shingles and has some brackets on the eave and cornice line. A lot of buildings like this in the area have dormers, have internal balconies. There's quite a number of them. This one seemed to skip a lot of the details that found their way into other buildings of this, let's say, character. So I don't really think of this as a standalone, unique building, but I think of it as an unembellished example of a hip multifamily of this time period. So it was, as you know, it was done as a spec house in its day. And it was graced with maintenance over time, which has allowed us to see it in the state of which it has today, as in many other buildings in the neighborhood have weathered or been covered over with a variety of cladding materials, not so glamorous, that is. Shingles require a painting regime, as you all well know. So I will just say that although it's a nice example of a house of that period, I don't think it's necessarily as exemplary as it's made out to be. And I'll leave it at that. So thank you very much for your time.
Does that complete the applicant's presentation?
Yes, that's from me.
I would.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yes, Mr. Chairman, it does. I apologize. I was on mute.
That's okay. Thanks, Mr. Lynn. Excuse me, I have to see where I I would now open the floor for any comments from the public on the significance of the building and whether or not the demolition delay should be imposed. I want to remind members of the public that the comments should be about the significance of the building only and whether or not the delay should be invoked. And we will limit public comment to 2 minutes per person. If you want to make a comment, please use your raise your hand feature of the Zoom platform.
All right.
Joe, you're going to unmute
Yep,
people?
I'll go through public comment. We have Elizabeth Smith. Would you like to make your comment? You'll have 2 minutes.
Great. Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak tonight. I'm in favor of the demolition delay. This commission is well prepared to weigh the relevant considerations after the landmark process and voting to approve a survey rating of national significance for the property in August. The commission is familiar with the detailed study report that explains that per section 3C of Article 85.5, the building is historically and architecturally significant because of the period of its construction and building method. And per section 3E of Article 85.5, the commission is aware that the loss of the property would have a significant negative impact on the historical and architectural integrity and urban design of the neighborhood. On this latter point, section 5 of Article 85.5 requires the commissioner to vote for demolition delay if the building is historically and architecturally significant. It is one of the last remaining examples of its kind in the neighborhood, and it is in good condition. The study report makes clear that each of these requirements is met. Further, the Landmarks Commission must evaluate alternatives to demolition under Section 7 of Article 85.5. One applicable criteria in Section 7B is the impact on the architectural, social, aesthetic, historic, and urban design of the neighborhood. You have heard from abutters in several meetings that the loss of the building would negatively impact each of these items. Another criteria in Section 7D is the availability of alternative sites for the applicant's intended use. As relevant here, the applicants have a home in Falmouth, Mass. and condos in Marco Island, Florida. In 2023, Mr. Clarity filed a notarized declaration of domicile stating that his Florida home constitutes his predominant and principal home, and he intends it to continue as such. It lists the 1812 Columbia Road address on the line labeled, "I formerly reside at." Thus, that there are at least 2 alternative sites for the applicant's intended use of aging in place with their adult children or neighbors. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Thank you for your comments. We can move next. Let's see. iPhone. If you would give us your full name, please, you can unmute yourself.
My name is Maureen Collins, and I live at 4th Street in South Boston. I'm familiar with the property, and I just wanted to state that I have no opposition to the demolition of the building. Thank you.
Thank you. We will move to, it looks like we have Lindsay Farina. If you can give us your full name, make sure I have it here. You have 2 minutes to make your comment.
Yep. Sorry. Hi, Lindsay Farina, South Boston resident. I am I'm in favor of the demolition. The Landmark Commission just recently voted that 1812 Columbia Road was not historically or architecturally significant. So I don't believe that delaying this process really is anyone's best interest. Thank you.
Thank you. We will move to Robin Adams. You should be able to unmute yourself. You have 2 minutes to make your comment.
Sure. The Landmark Commission actually accepted the study report. They voted not to designate the building. And some of us may be a little bit surprised to be here based on Richard Lynn's remarks at the Landmark hearing saying that the structure was, quote, not in threat of demolition, and that, quote, it was a mystery why we were bringing it up at the Landmark meeting. So I think he solved his own mystery the next day by filing for the Article 85, using the same set of plans that were presented at an abutters meeting and mentioned on page 16 of the study report under planning context, which stated this project would require the demolition of the Moakley house. So we just want to state that for the record, that the threat of demolition was very real and very public. So here we are. Let's apply the logic that the 600 individuals that supported Landmark would also be in favor of this delay. it seems logical. There were 165 Southie residents and 300 Boston residents that were in favor of landmarking this building. Unfortunately, that was not successful. These residents, including myself, wanted to see a binding compromise that would allow for 3 units through adaptive reuse and save the building. The owner's 3-unit project seems highly achievable in a formerly 2-family house with some creative roof modifications. And there's many examples of owners reconsidering projects after unsuccessful landmarking. They see how many people care and they feel compelled to do the right thing. So landmarking is such a much higher bar, and there's clearly sufficient grounds for a demo delay.
Thank you. You're at your 2 minutes. Thank you.
Yes, can I just say one more?
No, thank you. You're at your 2 minutes. Thank
the
you. We appreciate you having your time. Thank you. We'll move on now. We have Alan, if you could give us your full name, please.
Sure, Alan Smith here. Thanks for the opportunity to speak tonight. I'm here to advocate for a demolition delay. The property is not just a building, it's historically and architecturally significant structure that holds immense value in our community. As outlined in Article 85, the Commission is required to delay demolition if it meets certain criteria that are unquestionably met in this case. 1812 is one of the last remaining examples of its kind, and it is in remarkably good condition as clearly documented in the study report. Delaying demolition is not just an option. It is a responsible and necessary action that allows us to honor our history, preserve our heritage, and enhance thoughtful development. The 90-day period will give the owner time they need to explore viable alternatives, including adaptive reuse, which can fulfill their goal of creating 3 units while preserving the integrity of this nationally significant structure. This is an achievable and sustainable solution that respects both the needs of the owner and the community. Moreover, delaying would provide an invaluable opportunity to assess the potential archaeological significance of the site per the study report. Given the site's documented history, it is critical to ensure that any future work on the property takes into account in its cultural and historical context. Let's not rush to demolish what can be preserved, but instead let's take the time to carefully consider all options. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. We'll move next to Alina Levine. You can be able to unmute yourself and you'll have 2 minutes.
Hi, thank you very much. I won't need the 2 minutes. I think others before me have to go through. I apologize. There's some background noise happening. I'm not sure where that's from. Thank you. I just wanted to echo the arguments raised by Elizabeth Smith, Robin Adams, and the speaker just before me, and voice my support for the demolition delay. Thank you.
Great. Thank you for your comment. And we'll move next to Paul. If you could give us your full name, you'll have 2 minutes to make your comment. Paul, you should be able to mute yourself.
Hi, my name is Paul Sodrick. I live on 780 East 4th Street. I'm a 62-year resident of South Boston, City Point, a member of the CPNA. I have been in this neighborhood quite a bit. I raised my 3 children here, and this building is not significant. I've been following this process closely. It seems very adversarial, but I think we've made a decision. Let's move on and replace it with a beautiful building that the neighborhood deserves. Thank you.
Great. Thank you for your comment. We will move to Christopher Wren. You should be able to unmute yourself and you'll have 2 minutes.
Hey there, thanks so much. My name is Chris Wren. I live at 794 East 7th Street, directly across the street from 1812 Columbia. First off, I'll say somebody said that delaying this demolition isn't in anyone's best interests. It's in my best interest. I look at this house, this home every day on my kitchen window. There really are none like it in South Boston, with its kind of prominent position on Date Boulevard, at the intersection with East 7th Street. And it is without question that the loss of the building will have a dramatically negative impact on the architectural and urban design design character of the neighborhood. There's few homes that are closer to this property than mine. There are a couple, but not many. And as far as I can tell from when this process kicked off, none of us direct abutters were ever even notified. It just felt like this whole process was rushed to try and push this through without adequate consideration for the neighborhood. From my standpoint, this is a textbook case of why the Article 85 demolition delay exists, right? There is no going back. These homes are a dying breed, and the neighborhood will change forever. So I respectfully request that the commission delay the demolition of this one-of-a-kind historic South Boston home. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your comment. We will move to Donna Rand. You should be able to unmute yourself, and you'll have 2 minutes to make your comment.
Hi, thanks. This will be brief. Good evening, everyone. My name is Donna Rands. I'm a resident of South Boston for nearly 25 years now, residing on East Broadway. And I simply just don't see what delaying will do, how it will benefit anyone. So I absolutely support the demolition of this property. I'm very familiar with the site and very familiar with this long drawn out process. Trust me, speaking from personal experience. So I fully support the demolition. Thank you.
Great. Thank you for your comment. We will move now to Bob Swerblus. You should be able to unmute yourself. You'll have 2 minutes to make your comment.
Hi, I'm Bob Swerblus. I live at 1808 Columbia Road here in South Boston. We support delaying the demolition of the 1812 property. I'd like to echo the comments made by Elizabeth and Robin. They were very good and on point. The home at 1812, it's one of the last remaining examples of its kind in our neighborhood. And we really would like to see it in some shape or form stay around for a good long time to keep the feeling of the neighborhood as it is today. So yes, we would like to see the demolition delayed. Additionally, we haven't seen anything that shows that the demolition was going to be performed in any sort of safe manner. So, I mean, that's even another reason to delay it. Thank you for your time.
Great. Thank you for your comments. We will move next to iPhone. If you could give your full name, you'll have 2 minutes to make your comment.
Hello, my name's Joe McSorley. I live a block away at 1784 Columbia Road, and our family is right behind the Clarities and demolishing this building. We had a similar event in our house. I have a single family house, and we had, am I over talking to someone here?
No, you should be fine.
Okay. We have a single family house at 1784, and a few years ago we did the same thing. We knocked off our roof and went up 2 floors, and we're very happy with the situation. And I want to thank my neighbors again for not. I don't have to go through what the poor Clarities are going through with some of their neighbors. Thank you again. We're approving the demolition.
Great. Thank you for your comment. We'll move to Kathy Jerome. Kathy, you'll have 2 minutes to make your comment. You should be able to mute yourself.
Hi, my name is Kathy Jerome. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, fine.
My family resides at 65 Marine Road in South Boston, and I am completely in support of the demolition of 1812 Columbia Road without delay. I have no doubt the Clarities will be very thoughtful and tasteful with whatever they decide at their property, as has been shown in how well they've maintained the present home and why we're even talking about it today. Thank you.
Great, thank you. We'll move to Mike Keneally. Mike, you'll have 2 minutes to make your comment. You should be able to unmute yourself.
Well, thank you very much for allowing me to speak. I am very much in favor of demolition of this property. I'm a lifelong resident of South Boston, and I'm also a member of the City Point Neighborhood Civic Association. And the Clarities have every right in their possession to do this. And I would hope that the Landmark Commission decides in favor of not delaying this 90-day process. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We'll move to Zoom user. If you can give us your full name, you'll have 2 minutes to make your comment.
Hi, is this me?
Yes, yep, we can hear you. Give us your full
All
name.
right,
You'll have 2 minutes.
it's Billy Doyle. I live down the street at 753 East 7th Street, block away from this property. Again, I don't want to reiterate everything everybody said. I just want to support the demolition. I think this is a foolish endeavor on everybody trying to block it. It seems to be, everybody's just fighting this thing. Yeah, that's basically it. I'll let it go at that. Everybody else has pretty much spoke my mind on this.
Great. Thank you. Thank you for your comment. We'll move to Gerald. Gerald, if you can give us your full name, you'll have 2 minutes to make your comment.
Hi, my name's Jerry O'Connell. I live at 88 P Street around the corner from the Clarity House. And I've been on these WebExes and I am in full support of the demolition. And I just have one comment, and that is that it's just surprising that I've never heard, all these years I walk by there all the time, and I've never heard anybody say anything about the architect of the building or it being a historical building. Thank you.
Great. Thank you for your comment. We'll move to Jim Covino. Jim, you should be able to unmute yourself. You'll have 2 minutes to make your comment.
Yeah, my name is Jim Covino, and I just live around the corner on 6th Street. And
Jim, it's a little hard to hear you. Can you speak up?
yeah, sorry about that. Name is Jim Covino, and I live on 6th Street. And I am in support of not delaying the demolition of this property. I think it's been vetted fairly thoroughly, and that I would support. I do not support a 90-day delay in demolition.
Great. Thank you. Thank you for your comment. We'll move now to Thomas. Thomas, if you can give us your full name. See here. You should be able to unmute yourself now, Thomas.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, yep.
Yeah, I'm Tommy McGrath. I live at Emmons 7th Street. I'm in favor of the demolition of the Clarity's project. I think we've beaten a dead horse here. I think they deserve every right to work with the neighbors and come up with something compatible that everybody can agree on and let their family stay here in South Boston. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your comment. We will move next to Luann. Luann, if you can give us your full name, you'll have 2 minutes to make your comment.
Thank you. My name is Luann O'Connor, resident of South Boston, lifelong resident. I am for the demolition delay in hopes that this house has been deemed significant. The study report shows that the way that the commission voted to accept the study report, I'd like to see the community and the Clarity family be able to work with neighbors. It's irrelevant whether you're from South Boston or new to South Boston. The building itself is in fact relevant. So I would like to see the delay granted, and insofar as people representing themselves as City Point Neighborhood Association, that those comments are irrelevant when pertaining to this particular meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Luann. And it looks like that is the end of public comment.
Thank you, Joe. Question for staff. Has written public comment been received?
Yes, as of 6:25 this evening, we received 36 letters, which were in favor of invoking the delay, and 2 opposed to invoking the delay.
All right, thank you, Liz. And with that, I'm going to open the floor to commissioners and deliberation on the significance of the building and whether or not to invoke demolition delay. Jeffrey, yeah, please go ahead.
I just want to make the quick point that although the commission did not ultimately vote to designate the property a Boston landmark, that does not mean that the building lacks historic significance or architectural significance. It's an extremely high bar, and I just want to clarify that point. Thank you.
Thank you. Other commissioners? Don't make me call on people.
Hi, I just have a question on it seems like part of the architectural significance at its inception, it was a two-family home, which was typical of that period, and it's undergone significant transformations since then. And so I know we didn't meet the bar for designation of historical significance, but I guess I'm just opening it up to my counterparts here to see. It seemed like there was two grounds for the designation, for the significance. One is who lived there, and as has been laid out, is this was a very private residence, and a lot of like the official business that the great Joe Moakley was famous for was not conducted here by, as was their wish. So that's like one ground, and the other ground is obviously the architectural details themselves, a lot of which have been significantly modified. And so I guess I'm just wondering, given that it didn't meet that bar for historical significance, I'm just wondering like I feel like we're a bit splitting hairs here. So I just want to be clear on that.
Don Amadeo.
Yeah. Kind of in response to your question, Selena, and kind of an extension of what Jeffrey said, the criteria for determining if a property is eligible for demolition delay is different than the criteria for designation as a landmark. And as Jeffrey mentioned, it's a very high bar that a property has to reach to be designated as a landmark, and properties that don't reach that may still be historically significant for other reasons. And those reasons have already been stipulated by many of the people who have supported us invoking demolition delay.
I was not present at the meeting where this was considered, but my understanding from having read the note is the commission, although it did not designate the landmark, did accept the study report and did in fact elevate the survey rating of the property to national significance.
Mm-hmm.
Robin, I see your hand, but I want to hear from other commissioners for a few minutes. Commissioner Haney.
Thanks, Brad. I have no issue with invoking the delay. I think I would vote to not do that and move ahead with the demolition.
Commissioner Ward Hyatt.
Maybe this will guide me in future for future cases that we hear, but I would be very hesitant to not accept a study report, and so by casting a vote to accept it, I did so without further anticipation of a further vote. So I don't know. It's just I feel like the staff does such hard work, and the quality of work is so good. I think it behooves us to accept a study report. And I suppose I would have to really disagree with the content in order to not accept it. But I feel like those are very separate things. Designating, the landmark subsequent or not designating it, and then the demolition delay here.
Other commissioners? I'm going to throw it back to Robin Adams. I don't want to reopen all the public comment, but Robin, if you have something new to say.
Let me just, Robin, if you could raise your hand if you'd still like to speak. Okay, you should be able to unmute yourself.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I just wanted to clarify that the conversion to a two-family, the study report lists that the house has not had significant changes. So converting from a two-family to a single family was all based on the interior. I thought that might help.
Thank you. I see one more hand up. I'm going to take that, but we're not going to reopen public comment. Mr. Lin?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll be brief, and I do appreciate the public comment is over. I just feel it was important to respond, and I don't feel like I need to go round for round here, but with respect to the modifications and change from from a 2 to a 1 family, there are permits in the file that show a number of changes that were documented with the City of Boston. But I believe the commission, not only in the study report, but also in the submittals that we provided from our architect, show that there have been significant changes to the exterior as well. And that's one of the reasons why Mr. Stefanoff had highlighted that in his communication. So I just wanted to be clear for the record as well. Thank you.
Are there any other commissioner comments or deliberation? If not, I'm going to ask the staff if they have a recommendation regarding demo delay.
Yes, staff recommends invoking the demolition delay.
Thank you. I'm going to just restate the question for commissioners. An affirmative vote this evening would be indication that the commission agrees that the building proposed for demolition is significant within the meaning of Article 85 ordinance specifically, and there are 5 criteria. Staff has indicated that this building meets 3 of them. Subsection C, the building is historically or architecturally significant because of the period, style, method, building construction, or important association with a famous architectural builder. Subsection D, the building has an important association with one or more historic persons or events, or with broad architectural, cultural, political, economic, or social history of the city. And E, the building is one whose loss would have significant negative impact on the historic or architectural integrity or urban design character of the neighborhood. So any one of those would be sufficient. I would now entertain a motion to invoke demolition delay.
Make that motion. Jeffrey.
Haney, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Commissioner Gagnon. All right, and voting will be alternate commissioners Gagnon, Ward Hyatt, and Haney. I'm going to start with Commissioner Freeman. Still with us, Commissioner Freeman? All right, perhaps he's left the meeting.
See him.
Commissioner Orlando.
No.
Commissioner Baraducci.
No.
Commissioner Gagnon.
Yes.
Commissioner Ward Hyatt.
No.
Commissioner Haney.
No.
And I need one more vote, so that would be, excuse me, Commissioner Amadeo.
Yes.
And I'm going to vote no. So that is 4 noes and, excuse me, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 noes and 2 yeses. So the motion does not carry. Because demolition delay was not invoked, this hearing is concluded. Staff will issue appropriate documentation to the applicant so they can obtain a demolition permit. And that concludes this matter.
Brad, could we just have a clarification, please? I think Jeffrey Haney made a motion and then voted no on it. Is that procedurally okay?
I think it is procedurally okay on
It is? Okay.
Wanted
Thank
to
you.
advance it to a vote even if he wasn't in support.
Okay.
that fair, Jeffrey?
Yes.
Let's see. Our next matter is an advisory review on Boston City Hall, some changes to the